many people remember how to cut mangoes? I'm sorry. Just like we cut. Oh, you weren't here that night, huh? I guess it's a good thing I waited then. This is a whipped dessert, so it is slightly lighter. It is a little bit healthier for you. And we are going to take our mangoes. The way we cut mango is first find a good one. And to find a good one, you want to find something that is slightly soft, but not soft to the point where it gives overly greatly when you go to touch it. If you pick up a mango and you squeeze it and your thumb goes through it, it is way too ripe. You want something that you can push down a little bit on and it'll actually come back to its shape, come back to what it's supposed to be. If you find one that's too firm, put it on the windowsill, put it in a brown bag, let it sit for a day or two and it'll soften right up. They're a quick fruit to recover. With your mangoes, take your top off and your bottom where it was attached to the tree, and you want to peel it down, just like we've done with all of our large fruits, like the cantaloupes and the melons. And you peel it down on the seed. It just makes it a little bit easier to work with. And it makes it easier to cut the seed out later because you can see closer to what you're doing with the top and the bottom gone. If my voice still crackles, I'm sorry. Everybody knows I was sick last week. And my son's back there now. He'll tell you I couldn't talk at all. That's the best 3 days you had in a long time, right, buddy? Okay. And it came on quick. I'm going to do all three of these real quick before we start to chop them. And you can see the colors will be slightly different because they are a little more ripe than the others. You'll always get one or two that are darker or lighter. But once you mix them all together, the flavor should be it should blend pretty well together. Now, is anyone in the room cannot have coconuts? I didn't say didn't like, I just said couldn't have. Nobody? Excellent. We are going to put coconut in this, but I'd like to make sure in case somebody couldn't have it. This one is slightly more ripe, and you can tell as the skin comes off, it's a lot softer and it peels a little bit easier. The knife kind of goes through it a little easier, and the skin's a little bit softer. Get the bottoms all trimmed up, and we'll do one more. Now, you could change this to any type of tropical fruit you could think of. If you just wanted to use all pineapple, that's fine. If you wanted to add papaya or guava or star fruit or dragon fruit or anything else with that islandy kind of flavor to it, it will work. If you don't like something, by all means change it. This is a basic recipe that mixes jello and whipped icing together. You can use any form of gelatin you can imagine. I didn't either, actually. I was going to write this recipe actually as pineapple. And when I went to look for pineapple jello, we don't have pineapple, but we have mango. Go figure. I have had pineapple jello. We don't carry it for some reason. But we do carry mango of all things, so I decided we'll just switch it from pineapple to mango. It will work just the same. You can do lemon, you can do lime, you can do pistachio if you really like pistachio. Okay, now with these, see the color difference? They're all relatively ripe, but this one is going to be much more sweet than these two, okay? You want to find the pit in them because they have a very large seed. And you want to go around the seed the best you can. And you literally want to try and trim to the shape of the seed to get as much mango off of here as you can. All the way around and down. Now, I don't really know of a whole lot of things to do with the pits. other than to chew on them, to get all that extra mango flavor off of there. But you want to make sure, again, you cut as much down as you can. And I'll leave these up here so you can see them and you can actually feel the difference between the two. For such a tiny fruit to have such a large pit in it. It's quite amazing. Okay, we got all those off. Now we're just going to chop this up roughly. Doesn't have to be perfect or exact. We're using crushed pineapple, so it's going to have that random kind of size to it to begin with. We're going to add it to our large bowl as we're going. Okay, we have our mango in here. We are using canned crushed pineapple. And the reason for that is that we want the moisture and the juice from in here. That's what's going to help mix with our gelatins. So we're going to add 2 cans to it. And our jello. I actually am using Jello brand because they're the one that carries mango. And I can leave this out here so that you can see. We're going to add our gelatin to our fruit. And you want to make sure you try and sprinkle it the best you can. You could use diet. You can always substitute no sugar items. Personally, everyone knows I'm a sugar junkie. The more sugar I can get, the better. So we'll add those to it. Spoon, you just want to mix it down. And you'll notice this jello, as you're starting to mix it, will get less grainy and less gritty. And it'll start to dissolve and break down, and that's what you're looking for. And once we start adding Cool Whip to it, it'll actually start to thicken the Cool Whip from the gelatin. And that's kind of what we're looking for. Now there is one thing on that recipe that I will not use today, and that is food coloring. It is an option just to make it more bright and more vivid, depending on how much you want it to stand out. I think that this, with that mango gelatin, is going to stand out quite yellow. Okay, now that we have this stirred down, all the granules have actually dissolved into it. And that's what we were hoping for. We're going to add our Cool Whip. Now again, I'm doubling this. So yours says 2 containers. It's 2 small containers. Okay. This is just 2 large ones. Or does that say 8 cups? I'm sorry. 4 cups. That one says containers. I'm sorry. We are going to add this to it, and you want to be relatively gentle with it, but you don't have to be too bad. We're going to add it all in at once. It's light and whipped. And yes, there is sugar-free as well. We're just going to start breaking it down and folding it together. What's that? That's the pits. And I left them there so you can actually look at them. If you've never used mango, they're curious to see. Exactly. What's that? $20 ounce. Yep, that was a 20 ounce. You can use the smaller ones. Everyone who knows me by now knows that these recipes aren't that exact to where an ounce here or there is going to matter. I've tried to follow recipes like that and I can't stand them. If it's got to be that precise, forget it. Okay, this is all blended up pretty well. Anyone who's ever been down to the deli and seen Watergate dessert or orange dreamsicle dessert, very, very, very similar. Same concept, same principle. Now we're going to stir in our marshmallows. And I did write it in as one bag, so you don't have to worry about getting a bag and only using half. And I like the rainbow ones just because they make it bright and festive. Again, we're doubling it, so we're using 2. And our coconut. Now, this calls for 1 cup of coconut. And I am going to beat Keith because I can't find anything. Again, if you use more than 1 cup, it won't hurt anything. Just depends on how much you like coconut. We're going to use 2 again because we're doubling it. And then we'll probably take a little bit and we'll sprinkle it on top once we're done. Okay, there's our 2 cups. Now we're just going to fold it all down together. You could, it's a taste preference. Certain things I like toasted coconut for. For this, the only reason I don't like it is because it gets a little bit crispier and crunchier. I like the more natural coconut flavor for this, but you could by all means do it. It whips all up together. We're going to take our large glass bowl. We'll go from one to the other. You could just leave them out. Okay. Like I said, we'll take a little bit of coconut since we have some extra. And we'll just go with white on top. Does it look edible? Okay.